hit that subscribe button. That way you know exactly when I upload new videos.
And one gas station, and so it was pretty wide open. The what is now the triangular parking lot in the middle of the Riviera Village was a beautiful park that had been built there and landscaped and had a pond in the middle of it. We used to sneak down there and float boats in it as kids, but it was there was no development there till later on, just before World War II. There was started to be some developing, and also some houses started building in the Hollywood Riviera. Then people were starting to come out of the Depression. So it
came to the south.
Yeah.
Now, your uncle's name was Clifford Reed?
Clifford F. Reed, yeah.
And how did he spell his last name?
R-E-I-D.
Was he the originator of Hollywood Riviera,
yes,
of where Riviera Village is today? Was that part of the development?
He's the Hollywood Riviera is, like I said, was owned by Huntington Land Company, which is a division of Huntington Railroad and so on, and he went to them and contracted to develop it.
What do you remember most about the beach club, though, of the inside? We've heard that it had a ballroom on the Redondo side and a bar on the Torrance side.
It had eventually later on, after the folks were not involved anymore, they changed it around, and during the war, a lot of the big beautiful furniture was missed. It got lost. During the war, it was everything was in limbo, because just south of the club, the military brought in 4 anti-aircraft guns right on the top of the bluff, what is now Torrance Beach, in the parking lot there, and they were firing at towed targets out over the water, and so it was shaking the stuffing out of the building because of all that vibration. So it took quite a bit to bring it back afterwards. But for the summer of '42. And then the club was quite active, and the people that took over ran it for a while. And then, of course, after the war, they tried to get it up and running again, and it sort of slipped into a nightclub atmosphere, and there's a lot of activity going on there that wasn't the greatest, and so. Eventually, I think it was 1956 or just about there, that it caught fire due to people not doing good things, and so it burnt down, and that was a tremendous loss.
And do you know if that's, we've heard that that's how the term burnout came about for that's the end of the Esplanade at Vista Del Mar or Paseo de la Playa?
That's burnout. That is the actual piece of property there and the steps, and so it was. It was a great place for kids to grow up, just to have that clubhouse to be around.
Now, was the beach club actually on where the sand is today, or was it above the sand?
It was above the sand. Where the green park is now was the actual foot of the club, and had the locker rooms for as part of the pool, and had a large patio in the center of it, an open space, and had rooms for rent for people to come and stay. It had meals. I have menus, some of the early menus, and it's sort of a shock when you see the prices that were for a full meal with dessert and everything else for about $1, $1.25.
The development of Hollywood Riviera.
You lived in the Hollywood Riviera or owned property there. You got a card that says you were a member of that beach club. And it was open to the public as far as the dining room and the bar. People could come there, and or parties, and but the rest of the time it was restricted to a degree to the people of Hollywood Riviera.
And the parking lot to the south, what would that have? There's a municipal parking lot today. What was that?
Dirt. There was nothing. the club sat out there by itself. There was nothing around it, and there was nothing. Clearly got to Palos Verdes.
March 1946, the county to purchase beach frontage at $254,000 cost. The county does this to bring more privately owned beach property into public use for swimming and bathing. June 1946, Hollywood Riviera Beach Club finally opens after the war. 2 local guys buy it and renovate the entire club. Among the new facilities to be offered is the swimming pool, dancing 6 nights per week, to a 6-piece orchestra, dining room, supervision of small children by the competent nursery staff, as well as many other innovations. May of 1947, the Riviera Beach Club begins its season. It finally opens after a long-awaited closure. Here we go. May 1948, Riviera Beach property to be acquired by the state. And then there was a fire. According to Daily Breeze accounts, the fire broke out in the cocktail lounge at about 3:30 a.m. early on Thursday, September 25th, 1958. At least 45 firemen, 21 from Redondo and 24 from Torrance, battled the blaze and brought under control an hour later, though it continued to burn until dawn. Norton Wisdom, the owner of the beach club, is said to have arrived during the height of the blaze when he ran into the courtyard and asked, "What the hell has happened?" Later, firemen had to restrain him from going back into the burning structure to try and retrieve some of his belongings. The club, unfortunately, was a total loss. No one was injured in the blaze, but several employees who lived at the club were left homeless. Estimates of its value ranged from $150,000 to $700,000, but it was never rebuilt. Shortly after the fire, its ruins were bulldozed right into the ocean. For years afterwards, plans were made to redevelop the site. Even before the fire, Torrance and Redondo were trying to formulate plans to buy the club and convert it into a teen recreation center, but they had been unable to sort out the site's tangled ownership situation. In 1972, a judge ruled that the property had been dedicated by implication to the public, and so the property's then owner, Oscar Burke, could not build upon the property that he had purchased for $600,000. Amen. Thank you, Judge. That ruling eventually led to the development of Miramar Park on the site. The small, beautiful park was dedicated by the city of Torrance on January 11th, 1984. Since then, the one-time posh night spot has been a public space that all can enjoy and use freely. Okay, I get it. So this was kind of a long section. So I want to end it with something like really funny. And this is Tom Snellgrove, again, who worked for the Stewart family down at the Hollywood Riviera Beach Club. He was like an assistant lifeguard, and let him share this story, and I guarantee you will laugh at the end. It's really funny. All right, hope you enjoyed Hollywood Riviera.
I forget his first name, but his name is Stewart, and one of his sons is Marshall Stewart. And Mr. Stewart was manager of the Hollywood Riviera Beach Club. In the summers, I got this job as kind of a sub-assistant lifeguard. And I was a certified lifeguard on duty, but there was the beach, and there was the pool, and there was the locker room. So they needed some gopher to go from one to the other. And so it was a neat job. I think I got 25 cents an hour or something. And but anyway, one day I was out, the certified lifeguard, who was really a muscle guy. I was a little puny, skinny, tiny guy. I was out on the beach, and there was a couple that had 2 or 3 little kids, and they had their umbrella, beach umbrella, down to protect them from the sea breeze, and their kids were running around on the beach. Well, this little tiny girl, she must have been 3, maybe 2. She would run out in the water and run back, and you know how kids do, and they was having a great time. Well, she ran out in the water, and a big wave came and knocked her down and started to wash her out. You know, it wasn't a riptide or anything. It was just a little tiny girl. So I ran over and picked her up and walked her out of the water, and she was crying, and here came the dad running down there, and he accused me of being a sex molester. I didn't want to tangle with him, and I said, "Yes, sir." Anyway, just an incident.
Be sure to click the next video. It's a cool video. Stay in order. I promise you'll love it. Just click this video now. Is he not the funniest guy in the world? Anyways, I'm glad you guys made it through both videos on Hollywood Riviera and the Hollywood Riviera Beach Club. Now, let's go on to another topic. How's that sound? Click this link, click this video right here, and it'll take you along so you can follow along the storyline. All right, enjoy. Glad you liked it. Hope you liked it. See you in the next movie.